Giant. Giant is one of Minecraft's unused mobs and it has no AI. Giants are not in the spawn list of any biome, meaning they cannot spawn naturally. On top of that, the condition required for them to spawn is for the light level to be higher than 11 but lower than 8. So the only way to see them is through the summon command. Giants are 12 blocks tall, and even though they have the appearance of a bigger zombie, they are not considered to be an undead mob, so they can stand under the sun without getting burned and they will be damaged by potion of harming. The iron golem will still attack them though because giants are considered to be hostile mobs. When giants are underwater, they will drown and die instead of turning into a drown. But giants weren't always like this. In version 18W50A, they used the same AI as a zombie, but in the end, Mojang decided to remove their AI. Zombie horse. They look like normal horses, but they have green skin and their eyes are completely black. Zombie horses are friendly and they behave in the exact same way as regular horses. They switch their tail and eat grass. They can also be ridden like regular horses, but they can't spawn without using spawn eggs or commands. And because they are undead, they will take damage from healing potions. Illusioner. One of Minecraft's unused mob. The only way to spawn them is through commands. The Illusioner is part of the Pillager group. Their main weapon is the bow and arrow, but on top of that, they can also use magic to blind players and give the illusion that there are 4 of them. The Illusioner is the Pillager with the most health. Killer bunny. Like the name suggests, this type of rabbits is not friendly. They will attack players, foxes, and wolves. The thorn enchantment also has no effect on the killer bunny, but fortunately, they cannot spawn naturally. The killer bunny can only be summoned via commands. Their appearance is almost exactly the same as regular rabbits, but their eyes are horizontal and red. To breed, they use carrots like normal rabbits. The idea of this mob came from 88 Bully from Twitter. Zoglin, a rare mob in Minecraft. The Zoglin is the result of a hoglin leaving the nether. And the reason why this mob is rare is because hoglins usually avoid nether portals, so it's very difficult to find a Zoglin naturally. Zoglins are a lot more aggressive than hoglins. They will attack every mob except creepers, charge creepers, ghasts, and other Zoglins. They will even attack armor stands. Fortunately, unlike hoglins, Zoglins cannot breed, but if you like collecting dangerous mobs, Zoglins can be leashed. They are immune to fire, lava, and they cannot drown because they don't have lungs. Mooshroom. The Mooshroom is the rarest type of cows in Minecraft. They are red and they have mushrooms growing on their back. Mushrooms who spawn in the Mushroom Fields biome. They are one of the best food sources in the game because with a bowl, players can get unlimited stew. No need to actually kill for food, unless you like steak. But there is an even better way to get food from the mushroom. Red mushrooms struck by lightning will turn into brown mushrooms. When this type of mushroom eats a flower, they can give players suspicious stew. The type of effect you get from the stew is dependent on what type of flower the mushroom ate. The saturation effect is best for hunger because it gives the most hunger points. To revert the brown mushroom back to red, all you have to do is get the mushroom struck by lightning again. But if you're a psycho and you somehow prefer normal cows over mushrooms, you can use shears to turn mushroom into normal cows. But just remember, it's irreversible. Skeleton horse. Some of you may have never seen them because they only have a chance to spawn during a thunderstorm. But don't get too hasty when they do spawn because if you get too close, lightning will strike and they will spawn 4 more horses with skeletons on their back. And don't get too complacent because if you don't activate the trap within 15 minutes, they will despawn. But if you can kill the skeletons, the horses will be yours and they will never despawn. You can also just let the sun do the job, but it will take a while because of the helmets. Once you get the horse, you should take them under the sea because they won't dismount you, and they won't drown either because how could they? They don't even have lungs. I'm drowning. Panda. During the development of this mob, the lead sound design of Mojang went to Guangzhou, China to record real-life pandas. Pandas live in the jungle. They are very unique because unlike all the other mobs, pandas have 7 different personalities. Normal pandas can be distinguished by their frown, but they have no special ability. Lazy pandas can be distinguished by their smile. Like their name suggests, they are very lazy. Sometimes they will lay on their back and they will not get up even when lured by bamboo. On top of that, they are very slow. They are actually moving right now. Worried pandas can be distinguished by their worried expression. This type of panda will try to stay away from players and hostile mobs. During a thunderstorm, they will shake and cover their face. They also don't eat cake or bamboo on their own. Playful pandas can be distinguished by their visible tongue. This type of panda will still roll around as an adult, even when they shouldn't. Aggressive pandas can be distinguished by their thick eyebrows. When most pandas get hit, they will only retaliate once. Aggressive pandas, on the other hand, will retaliate until the target dies. And if a nearby panda is attacked, aggressive pandas will also get angry. Weak pandas can be distinguished by their snotty nose. This type of panda has half the health of other pandas, and they will sneeze more often as babies. Brown pandas can be distinguished by their color. They don't have a unique ability, but they are the rarest type of pandas. Pandas will use bamboo to breed, but they need at least 1 bamboo block in a 5-block radius in order to successfully breed. breed. In Bedrock Edition, at least 8 bamboo blocks is required to successfully breed. Pandas can pick up bamboos and cake to eat. In Bedrock Edition, pandas can be ridden by baby zombie variants. Upon death, pandas will drop bamboo. Baby pandas can drop a slime ball when they sneeze. Their sneeze will also startle adult pandas, which is probably a reference to this video. And in version 19W39A, this is what baby pandas look like because of a bug. Snow Golem. Just like his brother, the Iron Golem, the Snow Golem will attack hostile mobs, but it is a bit better than the Iron Golem because Snow Golem also attack creepers. The only downside is that they don't do damage. That means all the snowballs they throw do nothing but get them jumped. But there are 2 mobs that the Snow Golem can do damage to: blazes and dogs. Snow Golems can be summoned by placing 2 snow blocks on top or next to each other and a carved pumpkin at the end. Once they've been summoned, they will wander around until they find a hostile mob to attack. If this happens, they will surely die, so if you don't want to lose your pumpkins, you can get it back by using shears. The Snow Golem is weak to water, rain, the weather of the desert, savanna, badlands, and the nether, but with a potion of fire resistance, they will be able to live. Lastly, if a Snow Golem makes a mistake, the Iron Golem will not forgive. Iron Golem. Unlike his brother, Iron Golems can spawn in villagers and pillager outposts. Players can also summon them using iron blocks and carved pumpkins. Golems that spawn naturally are neutral, meaning they will only attack you if you attack them first, and if your reputation in the village is bad enough, they will also attack. Golems summoned by the player will never attack the player. Golems cannot drown and they are immune to fall damage. When their health is 75% or lower, they will have visible cracks on their body. The lower the health, the more cracks they will have, but they can be repaired using iron ingots. Sniffer. Sniffers do not spawn naturally. They can only hatch from sniffer eggs, which can be found in suspicious sand from warm ocean ruins. Another way to get sniffer eggs is to breed them using torch flower seeds. Sniffers will dig up torch flower seeds and pitcher pots from these blocks. Snifflets take about 40 minutes to grow. Warden. The Warden was added in version 1.19, but originally the name wasn't Warden, it was Stalker. And this is the prototype of the Stalker. This is the second version, but Mojang decided to scrap them because they were too goofy and not scary enough. The name of the mob was then changed to Hollow, and this was the prototype. This version, however, was also scrapped because it was too gory for Minecraft. Wardens can be found in ancient cities, but their spawning condition is different from other mobs. The Warden will only spawn after the players have activated the Skulk Shrieker 4 times. The Warden is blind, so they will try to sniff and listen to locate the players. The Warden has more health than both the Ender Dragon and the Wither, but the Warden itself is not considered a boss. On top of having more health than the bosses, the Warden also has the highest melee damage in the game, and they can also attack at range. The Warden can attack with a sonic boom that will bypass the shield, and even the Protection 4 enchantment will not reduce its damage. But if you can kill the Warden, it will give the equivalent XP to killing a zombie. And a Skull Catalyst that you can mine. Axolotl, a passive mob that can be found in the Lush Cave. There are 5 different colors of Axolotls, with blue being the rarest because they cannot spawn naturally and they only have a 1 out of 1200 chance to spawn when breeding. Axolotls will never attack players, but they will attack all aquatic mobs except turtles, dolphins, and other axolotls. Axolotls will give players the regeneration effect if players help them kill their target, and if the player had mining fatigue, the axolotl will help remove it as well. On top of giving players the regeneration effect, axolotls will also give themselves regen when they play dead after taking damage. On land, axolotls will have 5 minutes before they start suffocating, but they will be completely fine in the rain. A green axolotl was shown at Minecraft Live 2020, but it was never added. Allay, a passive mob added in as the winner of the mob vote in 1.19. During development, the other names considered for the Allay were Wisp and Pixie. Allays will spawn at pillager outposts and woodland mansions. Allays will float around until players give them an item. After being given an item, they will collect that item and bring it to the player. Allays will also throw the items down if they hear a sound from the note block. This allows players to build a contraption to automatically collect items. Allays will dance to the jukebox, and if they are given an amethyst shard, they will duplicate. Allays cannot hold leads, they can't go underwater, and players will not be able to damage Allays holding an item. Pillager. Pillagers will spawn at pillager outposts, in raids, and in wandering patrols. Captains will spawn with a banner on their back. Killing the captain will give players the Bad Omen effect, which is an effect used to start a raid. To start a raid, a player with the Bad Omen effect has to get close to a villager with a job or a claim bed. The Bad Omen effect has 5 levels. The level of the effect will decide the amount of raids and the difficulty of the raids. The level of the Bad Omen effect can be increased by killing more pillager captains. During a raid, if the pillagers can kill all the villagers, they will win and celebrate. But if the player can defend the villagers, the player will be granted the Hero of the Village effect, which is going to reduce the prices of trades, and the villagers will even throw items on the ground as a gift. The Hero of the Village effect will be at the same level as the Bad Omen effect that started the raid. Pillagers are part of the Illager group, and it is is the only Pillager we can tame. By sitting in a boat and letting the Pillager shoot his crossbow, the crossbow will eventually break, and once it does, the Pillager becomes passive. To save time, this can also be done via command. Vindicator, another member of the Pillager group. Their main weapon is the iron axe. They will spawn in raids and woodland mansions. Vindicators are hostile to players, iron golems, adult villagers, and wandering traders. Vindicators cannot be disarmed like the Pillager, but even if they could, they would still be able to attack. Vindicators will jump up and laugh as a celebration to winning the raid. Vindicators named Johnny will attack every mob except Evokers, Pillagers, Illusioners, Ghasts, and other Vindicators. This is a reference to the Shining movie. Evoker, one of the fastest mob in Minecraft. Evokers can be found in the mansion and wave 5 of a raid onward. Evokers are hostile to these mobs and players. Evokers have 2 types of attacks. They can summon fangs to bite their target, and they can summon vexes to attack for them. Upon death, the Evoker will drop a totem of undying, which can give the player an extra life. Outside of combat, Evokers will say before dying a blue sheep red, which is a reference to the priest unit from Age of Empires. Vex, one of the tiniest mob in Minecraft. Vexes are summoned by the Evoker and they will attack whatever the Evoker commands them to. Vexes use the iron sword as their main weapon. They will turn red as they're charging to attack. Upon death, the Vex will only drop XP in Java Edition. In Bedrock Edition, they have a chance to drop a sword. Vexes can fly through blocks without taking damage, and they are even immune to lava. But after being summoned for about 1 minute, they will start taking damage until they die. Ravager, the pet of the Pillager group. Before becoming the Ravager, the name was Pillager Beast in version 18W43A, and in version 18W45A, the Ravager was part of the patrol group. In the current version, the Ravager can only spawn in wave 3 of a raid onward. To attack, the Ravagers will charge at the target. While they're charging, they can destroy crops and leaves, but this attack can be blocked by a shield, and blocking can even stun the Ravager. After being stunned, the Ravager will roar, which is another type of attack. Vindicators named Johnny will not attack other Pillagers, but they will attack the Ravager. Upon death, the Ravager will always drop a saddle. In version 18W43A, they were scared of rabbits. Bats, they exist. Villager. Villagers can spawn in villages and igloo basements. They have 7 appearances based on biomes they were born in: plains, desert, savanna, snowy plains, taiga, swamp, and jungle. Swamp and jungle villagers don't usually spawn because villages don't generate in those biomes, but they still have a chance to spawn if a village generates between 2 biomes. There are 15 roles villagers can play in the village: armorer, butcher, cartographer, cleric, farmer, fisherman, fletcher, leatherworker, librarians, mason, shepherd, toolsmith, weaponsmith, unemployed, and nitwit. Unemployed villagers are just villagers that have yet to take a job. Nitwit, on the other hand, are incapable of working. They will never pick up a job, so their only contribution to society is breeding. Working villagers will trade a lot of useful items with players. Their currency is emerald, and they will show players what players can buy from them if the player is holding an emerald in their hand. Villagers need their job site blocks to restock their trades. They will gossip about players, and this can cause the prices of trades to either increase or decrease. Good actions, such as trading, will have a positive effect on the player's reputation, resulting in cheaper trades. Bad actions, such as hurting or killing villagers, will have a negative impact and cause villagers to increase their prices. On top of that, if the reputation of the player is bad enough, the iron golem in the village will attack the player. To avoid getting a bad reputation, using lava or fire to kill villagers is best. Villagers have the ability to summon iron golems to protect themselves, but certain requirements have to be met. In Bedrock Edition, the requirements are 20 beds, 10 villagers, accessible job site blocks for every villager, and villagers need to be in a panic state. In Java Edition, the requirements are 3 beds, 3 villagers, and villagers need to be in a panic state. Villagers have 8 inventory slots and they can pick up these items, but they will lose everything in their inventory when they die or turn into zombie villagers. Villagers can wear armors, but it will not render except for pumpkins and mob heads. They use carrots, potatoes, beetroots, and bread to breed, but in order to successfully breed, there must be an unclaimed bed nearby. Whether they are successful or not, every time they try to breed, they will consume the food in their inventory. Baby villagers like to jump on beds, so there also needs to be a 2-block gap between the bed and the ceiling for villagers to successfully breed. Baby villagers take 20 minutes to grow, and there's no way to cut that time. Upon death, villagers drop nothing, and depending on the difficulty setting, zombies can turn villagers into zombie villagers. But zombie villagers can also spawn on their own in both adult and baby variants at light level 0 and at abandoned villages. Zombie villagers behave similarly to zombies, but they have a lot of different appearances similar to villagers. But unlike regular zombies, zombie villagers cannot turn into drowns. They can only convert back to being villagers. To turn zombie villagers back to villagers, players have to give the zombie villager the weakness effect and feed them a golden apple. While they're getting cured, the zombie villager will get a buff of the strength effect, so their attacks are a lot deadlier. To speed up this dangerous phase, players can place iron bars or beds close to the zombie villager. Cured villagers will give players better deals. Husks are desert variants of zombies, but unlike zombies, they don't take damage from sunlight, and they can inflict the hunger effect with their attacks. Upon death, husks can drop rotten flesh, iron ingots, carrots, and potatoes. When husks are submerged underwater for long enough, they will turn into zombies. Zombies spawn in every old world biomes except the deep dark and mushroom fields. They can can also spawn from spawners found in dungeons, and zombie sieges can happen when a player is near a village at midnight. Zombies can spawn with armors, sometimes as rare as enchanted diamond armors. Upon death, they will drop the same items as husks, but if killed by charged creepers, they will drop their heads as well. Players wearing zombie heads will reduce the zombies' detection range by half. Some zombies have the ability to pick up items, and they will always replace the old one with a better one. On hard difficulty, they also have the ability to break doors, and on Java Edition, zombies, husks, drowns, and zombified piglins can call for reinforcement when they're being attacked. This is the reason why sometimes players will see regular zombies spawn in the nether. When zombies are submerged in water for long enough, they will convert to drowns. Drown, the underwater variant of zombies. Drowns can spawn in oceans, rivers, and dripstone caves. They have a chance to spawn with tridents or fishing rods in their main hand, and nutterless shells in their offhand. Drowns are the only zombie variant that cannot spawn with armor. Most drowns use melee attacks, but drowns with tridents will use projectile attacks. They are hostile at night, but during the day, they will only attack when a player enters a body of water. Drowns can turn villagers into zombie villagers as well, even with projectile attacks. They are not weak to the impaling enchantment because they are not considered an aquatic mob. They are instead weak to smite because they are undead. Upon death, drowns have a chance to drop rotten flesh, copper ingots, and whatever they were holding. Cats. Cats can be found in villages and swamp huts. There are 11 types of cats: black cats, white cats, red cats, British shorthair, calico, Persian, ragdoll, Siamese, tabby, tuxedo, and jelly, which was the cat of the YouTuber Good Times to Score. But unfortunately, she passed away. Upon death, cats can drop strings. Stray cats will slowly approach players holding raw cots or raw salmons, but if the player moves or turns too fast, the cat will run away. If fed enough fish, cats will be tamed. Their collars can be dyed similar to the collar of wolves. Tame cats have the ability to give players items after sleeping with them. Cats are immune to fall damage. Creepers and phantoms are afraid of cats. To breed, cats will use raw cots or raw salmons. They need a 5-minute break before they can create more kittens, and kittens will take 20 minutes to grow. Camels. Camels were added in the Minecraft 1.20 update. They spawn in the center of desert villages. They wander around and sit occasionally. While sitting, they can't be pushed by mobs or players. They can be saddled like horses, but unlike horses, they don't need to be tamed. In addition, up to 2 players can ride the camel. The visual may not suggest so, but it's true. I just don't have friends. Due to the camel's height, when riding it, players are safe from some melee mobs. Camels can also walk up walls and fences, sprint, and they can dash every 2.75 seconds. Camels use cacti to breed and heal. Camels only drop XP upon death. Baby camels, on the other hand, don't do anything and drops nothing, so have fun. Creeper. Creepers will spawn in every overworld biome except the deep dark and mushroom fields. Their main way to attack is to get close to players and detonate themselves. This damage can be reduced with the blast protection enchantment, or you can also place a block in front of your feet because your feet is more important than both your brain and your heart. But to be really safe, you can tame a cat because creepers are scared of cats and ocelots. There are 2 types of creepers: normal creeper and charged creeper. Charged creepers will spawn when normal creepers get struck by lightning. Charged creepers will do more damage and have a bigger explosion range. These mobs will drop their heads when killed by charged creepers. Creepers can be forced to detonate with a flint and steel or fire charge, and if they had an effect on them, when they explode, they will leave a cloud of that effect. Bee. Bees will spawn inside bee nests that can generate on birch, oak, mangrove, and cherry trees. The bee nest can generate when a tree is grown next to a flower. Up to 3 bees can live inside a nest. Bees will come out and collect pollen during the day and stay inside the nest at night. In the nether and the end, bees will never stop working because there's no night or day. Bees with pollen can speed up the growth of crops, similar to bone meal. After collecting pollen 5 times, players will be able to harvest. To harvest without making the bees angry, there must be a campfire under the nest, or a dispenser has to be used. Harvesting with shears will drop honeycomb, and harvesting with bottles will drop honey. Honeycombs can be used to craft candles, beehives, blocks of honeycomb, and it can be used to wax copper blocks to prevent oxidation. Honey will give 6 hunger points and cure the poison effect, and it can also be crafted into honey blocks and sugar. Beehives and bee nests can be picked up with the Silk Touch enchantment. Without Silk Touch, the nest will break and the bees will get angry. The hive, on the other hand, will still drop, but the bees will still be angry. Angry bees will try to sting the player, and if they're successful, they will lose the stinger and die. But they can still breed before they die, so get your flowers ready. As for their weakness, bees will take damage in water, and they will take extra damage to the Bane of Arthropod enchantment. Zombified Piglin. Their main weapon is the Golden Sword. They can spawn in the Nether Waste, Crimson Forest, Nether Fortress, Nether Portal in the overworld, and when pigs get struck by lightning. When piglins end up in the overworld, they will also turn into a zombified piglin over time. This can result in some zombified piglins carrying golden axe and crossbows, but they will not use the crossbow properly. Baby piglins will turn into zombified piglins with no weapon, but they can still do damage. Unlike the piglins, the zombified piglins will not be scared of the soul fire. On top of that, regular piglins are terrified of the zombified piglins. Baby zombie piglins can spawn on top of chickens in Java Edition, and adult zombified piglins piglins can spawn on top of striders. During Halloween, Zombified Piglins have a chance to spawn with carved pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns on their heads. Zombified Piglins are neutral, meaning they will never attack first, but if you attack them, they will gang up on you. Zombified Piglins are considered to be an undead mob, but they are not weak to the sun. They can't walk over magma blocks, and they have a chance to drop gold nuggets, gold ingots, and whatever they were holding. Ender Dragon, the big boss of Minecraft. The Ender Dragon will reside on the main island in the end. She will fly around the island and perch on the end pillar occasionally. While she's perching, projectile attacks will have no effect, but players can do the most damage during this time by attacking the dragon's weakest spot. End crystals on obsidian pillars will heal the Ender Dragon, so it's best to destroy them first. Destroying an end crystal linked to the Ender Dragon will do a lot of damage. The Ender Dragon will destroy every block it comes in contact with except these blocks. The Ender Dragon has the ability to fling players into the air when players come in contact with her head or wings. Another way she attacks is by using fireballs. Her fireballs can be picked up with bottles to get the Dragon's Breath item. The Dragon's Breath can be used to brew lingering potions, which will leave a cloud of an effect similar to the Dragon's fireballs. Upon death, the Dragon will drop a large amount of XP, the end portal will open, an end gateway will be generated, and a Dragon Egg will appear on top of the bedrock pillar. But the Dragon can still be resurrected by placing 4 end crystals around the bedrock pillar. The resurrected Ender Dragon will not give the same amount of XP, but killing it will generate another end gateway, which can be done for a total of 20 times to generate 20 end gateways around the end island. Wither, another boss of Minecraft. The Wither can be summoned by placing soul sand or soul soil in a T formation and 3 Wither skeleton skulls on top. Once they've been summoned, the Wither will charge up before exploding. The Wither will attack by shooting 2 types of skull, blue skull and black skull. Blue skulls are slower, but they have more blast power, and they can be redirected in Bedrock Edition. Black skulls are faster, but they have less blast power. The skulls will do damage and give the Wither effect. The Wither will attack every mob except undead mobs and ghasts. Mobs killed by the Wither will drop the Wither Rose, which is a flower that gives the Wither effect. The Wither is immune to fire, lava, water, and snow, but it is an undead mob, so it is weak to the healing potions and the smite enchantment. The Wither will regenerate its health slowly, but if they can kill, they will regenerate faster. When the Wither's health is 50% or lower, it will create a shield that protects itself from projectile attacks. In Bedrock Edition, on top of having a shield, the Wither will also summon 3 Wither skeletons to fight. Upon death, the Wither will drop the Nether Star, which can be used to craft the beacon. The Wither in the Void will continuously shoot out blue skulls. Horse. Horses can be tamed by getting repeatedly mounted by players. They can be equipped with saddles and armors. There are 4 types of armors, but only the leather armor can be crafted. The rest can be found in structures. Horses will spawn in the plains, savannas, and in animal pens and villages. Horses can come in 35 different colors and markings. Each horse will have different speed and jump strength. The highest a horse can jump is 5 blocks, and the highest speed they can go is 14.23 blocks per second. Using the speed potion can speed up the horse. Upon death, they can drop leathers. To breed, they require golden carrots and golden apples, but feeding them sugar, wheat, hay bales, and apples will still help with taming and health regeneration. On foals, it will make them grow faster. Donkey, a better horse. Donkeys spawn in meadows, plains, and savannas. When tamed, they can be equipped with a chest like llamas, but they can still be ridden like a horse. The chest cannot be removed. The only way to get it back is to kill the donkey. Upon death, donkeys can drop leathers. All donkeys have the same speed and jump strength. Donkeys will never retaliate. Adult donkeys can only go in minecarts, but foals can go in both minecarts and boats. Donkeys can eat sugar, wheat, apples, and hay bales, but they will use golden apples and golden carrots to breed. Unlike other passive mobs, the foal will not be tamed, so players do have to tame them later. Another unique ability donkeys have is the ability to crossbreed with horses to create mules. Mule. They can be ridden and equipped with a chest like donkeys. Mules cannot spawn naturally, and they cannot breed with other mules. They eat the same food as donkeys and drop the same item upon death. Parrot. Parrots spawn in the jungle. There are 5 types of parrots. They love to imitate the sound of hostile mobs. Upon death, parrots will drop feathers. They can be tamed with seeds, but they can't be bred. Parrots can sit on the player's shoulders. They dance to the music from the jukebox. In version 1.12p3, cookies were used to tame parrots. Now they die to cookies. Parrots used to change color when they dance. You, fat boy! The pig is the origin of Creeper because Nosh messed up and made the pig vertical instead of horizontal. Pigs can be saddled and ridden, but it requires a carrot on stick to control. Pigs will spawn on grass blocks in every biome except snowy plains, meadows, and wooded badlands. Their Viagra is carrots, potatoes, and beetroots. If you like to torture animals, pigs struck by lightning will turn into Zombified Piglin, but if that's too hard, Pig Destroyer Mark 1 will do. Pufferfish, a mob native to the warm ocean. The pufferfish will not directly attack players, but if the players get too close, they will puff up, do damage, and give the players the poison effect. The amount of damage the pufferfish will do is determined by how puffed up they are. Unlike other fish, the pufferfish will not swim in schools, but they can still be picked up by a bucket like other fish. Upon death, they will drop themselves, and they have a chance to drop bone meal as well in Java Edition. In Bedrock Edition, they have a chance to drop bones. The pufferfish can be eaten, but it will give the players the nausea effect, the hunger effect, and the poison effect. A better way to use them is to brew water breathing potions. The potion is very useful in fighting Elder Guardians and Ocean Monuments. Speaking of the Guardians and Elder Guardians, they also have a chance to drop the Pufferfish upon death. The rates are horrible though, so an easier way to get the Pufferfish item is to just fish. Master level fishermen will also trade emeralds for Pufferfish. Slime. Slimes will spawn underground below Y level 40 in some chunks and in the swamps. Slimes have 3 different sizes. When killed, big slimes will split into smaller slimes until they cannot split anymore. The smallest slimes can drop slime balls upon death. If they were named, slimes will keep their name after splitting. They attack players on iron golems. They can drown. And a slime summoned by this command will be the biggest mob in the game. Magma Cube. A mob native to the nether. They spawn in the Basalt Delta, Nether Waste, Fortress, and Bastion. Magma Cubes come in 3 different sizes like slimes. And according to an article on Minecraft.net, Magma Cubes are rarely aggressive. They're just extremely hot to the touch. Like slimes, Magma Cubes will split into smaller size cubes when they die. And if the big cube is named, the smaller cubes will rename as well. Magma Cubes also attack players on iron golems, but the difference between the Magma Cube and the slime is that small Magma Cubes can still do damage, and they are immune to fire and lava. But despite being magma, they aren't weak to water. They are extremely weak to powdered snow though. Upon death, Magma Cubes will drop Magma Cream, which can be used to brew potion of fire resistance and crafted into magma blocks. And when eaten by frogs, they will drop Froglight. Skeletons. Skeletons will use bows and arrows to attack players, iron golems, and baby turtles. 89% of skeletons will hold the bow with the right hand, and 11% will hold it with the left hand in Java Edition. Skeletons will spawn at light level 0 in the overworld, with the exception of the deep dark and mushroom fields biomes. They can also spawn from a spawner. Sometimes they will spawn riding a spider, and on a rare occasion they will spawn when a trapped skeleton horse is approached by a player. In the nether, skeletons can spawn in the fortress and Sand Valley. During Halloween, they can spawn with pumpkins. Upon death, skeletons can drop bows, arrows, and armors. If killed by a charged creeper, they will drop their skull as well. But if they kill a creeper, the creeper will drop a music disc. Skeletons are afraid of dogs and they will try to run away. Skeleton skulls can also be found in ancient cities. The skull will make it harder for skeletons to locate players. Stray, a cousin of the skeleton. The stray is another version of the skeleton that can be found in frozen rivers, snowy plains, and ice spikes. A skeleton can also turn into a stray if they have been under a powder snow block for some time. The stray acts pretty much like a skeleton, but they use arrows of slowness instead of normal arrows. That means they can drop arrows of slowness, so to improve your skeleton farm, add a block of powder snow. Wither skeleton. They will only spawn in another fortress. Their main weapon is the stone sword. When hit by the wither skeleton, players will receive the wither effect, which is similar to the poison effect, but it will actually kill you. Wither skeletons can spawn with pumpkins during Halloween. They will attack players, iron golems, snow golems, baby turtles, piglins, and piglin brutes. They will flee from wolves like skeletons, but they will retaliate a lot faster. Upon death, the wither skeleton can drop bones, coals, stone swords, and wither skeleton skulls. Wither skeletons can be equipped with a bow via command, and they will shoot fire arrows even with an unenchanted bow. Elder Guardian, the guardian of the ocean monument. There are 3 Elder Guardians in every ocean monument. Elder Guardians will attack players, axolotls, glow squids, and squid like normal guardians. Their attacks cannot be blocked by shields, but they have to charge it up, so hiding behind a block will force them to recharge. A unique ability the Elder Guardian has is the ability to give players the mining fatigue effect, which is an effect that will make it super slow for players to mine blocks. When Elder Guardians bring out their spikes, players will get hurt trying to hurt them with melee attacks. So the best weapon for fighting the Elder Guardian is the trident, because on top of being able to throw it, players can enchant the trident with the impaling enchantment to do more damage to the guardians. Upon death, Elder Guardians will drop a block of sponge, and they have a chance to drop the tide armor trim, prismarine shards, prismarine crystals, and fish. Guardian. Unlike the Elder Guardians, Guardians can spawn outside the monument and they can respawn indefinitely. They have the same type of attack and defense as the Elder Guardians, but they do less damage. Upon death, they can only drop prismarine shards, prismarine crystals, and fish. Ghast. They are native to the nether and they can spawn in the Basalt Delta, Nether Waste, and Sand Valley. The ghast will just float around if they have no target to attack, but if they spot a player, they will shoot immediately, but their fireballs can be redirected back to them. Upon death, they have a chance to drop gunpowder and gas tears. The tears can be used to brew potion of regeneration or crafted into end crystal to resurrect the ender dragon. On top of resurrecting the ender dragon, the end crystal is really good for combat because even an all protection 4 netherite armor won't survive. Like most nether mobs, the ghast is immune to fire and lava. And their sound is from C418's cat. Enderman. The Enderman is the only mob you can find in all 3 dimensions, and they have a special ability, teleportation. Endermen are neutral, so they will never attack first unless you look them in their eyes. Endermen will not be able to move if you look at their eyes, but they will teleport away if you get too close. One way to avoid making the Enderman angry is to wear a pumpkin. Sneaking and using the potion of invisibility will help as well, but they will still get angry if you look at them from too close. The Endermen can pick up and place these blocks. They are allergic to water, but water in the cauldron will have no effect. Upon death, the Enderman will drop whatever player was holding, and they have a chance to drop ender pearls. Ender pearls can be used by players to teleport like the Enderman, and it has a chance to spawn Endermite. Projectile attacks will have no effect on the Enderman because they will teleport away, but even if they can't teleport away, the projectiles will just bounce off. Lastly, this is the Enderman's point of view. Endermite. Endermen and Endermites hate each other, and they also hate players. Endermites are not very common because they only have a 5% chance to spawn when players use the ender pearls. Once they spawn in, they only have 2 minutes before they despawn. The only way to prevent them from despawning is to use a name tag on them. Endermites are part of the arthropod category, so they are weak to the Bane of Arthropods enchantment. Fox, a mob native to the taiga. Their fur will be orange in temperate biomes and white in cold biomes. Foxes can spawn as adults and babies, and they have a chance to spawn with many different items in their mouth. They can hold anything, but they prefer food, which they will eat after some time. Foxes will run away from wolves, polar bears, and players. They hunt chickens, rabbits, cod, salmon, tropical fish, and baby turtles. Arctic foxes prefer fish, and red foxes prefer land animals. During the day, the fox will sleep. Sometimes they will pick berries to eat, and they also use the berries to breed. Foxes bred by players who trust the player, meaning they won't run away. On top of that, they will protect the players from hostile mobs. Give them a good sword to do more damage. Dolphin. Dolphins will spawn in all oceans except the cold ocean. They can give players the Dolphin's Grace effect, which will help players swim faster. Dolphins need air to survive, but they will die if they stay on land for too long. They will also die if they stay in water for too long. Upon death, they will drop cods. When fed cods or salmons, dolphins will lead players to shipwrecks, treasure chests, and ocean ruins. Dolphins like to play with items. They can't be put into boats, but the lead can be used on them. Dolphins can actually retaliate if provoked. Their sounds were recorded in Kolmarden Wildlife Park in Sweden. Bah. Goats spawn in Frozen Peak, Jacket Peak, and Snowy Slopes. There are 2 types of goat, normal goat and screaming goat. They are similar in appearance, but screaming goats will scream, and they will ram more often. Goats usually ram into players or mob that haven't been moving, but they also like to ram into armor stands. They will ram into every mob except other goats and ghasts. If the goats ram into these blocks, they will drop their horn, which can be blown by players. There are 8 different types of goat horn, 4 from normal goats, and the other 4 from screaming goats. Even though goats have the ability to ram, they will only do it on entities that haven't moved. They will not retaliate even when being attacked. Another ability the goat has is the ability to jump really high, but standing on honey blocks will take away this ability. Goats can be milked like cows, but unlike the cows, the goats will only drop XP upon death, so a better way to get XP through the goats is to use wheat to breed them. 2 normal goats have a 2% chance to give birth to a screaming goat. 2 screaming goats have a 100% chance to give birth to a screaming goat. Llama. Llamas are neutral and they spawn in the savanna biomes. Llamas come in 4 colors: white, gray, cream, and brown. Another type of llama is the trader llama that spawns with the wandering trader. This type of llama will despawn over time. To prevent this from happening, players can tame them first. Tame llamas can hold chests, allowing players to have more storage early game, but each llama will have different amount of inventory slots. On top of carrying chests, llamas can also be decorated with carpets. Their carpets can still be seen with the invisibility effect. Llamas don't have a saddle slot, so they can be ridden like a horse. The best way to move them around is by using a lead. Other llamas will follow the lead llama in a caravan. Hay bales are used to breed llamas, and wheat can be used to make taming them easier. The only mob that the llama will attack first is the wolf. Other mobs and players will have to provoke them first to make them attack. This means they will not help their owner fight, and they will still retaliate if provoked by their owner. Upon death, llamas have a chance to drop hides, and this is what a spit war looks like between them. Wandering Trader. They will spawn with 2 trader llamas and sell items from different biomes, but unlike villagers, they cannot restock. Another downside is that they will never give you a discount, even if you have the hero of the village effect. Traders also cannot turn into zombies, so caring to lower their price is impossible. After some time, the trader and his llamas will despawn. Minecarts, boats, and even name tags will not stop this from happening, so to get the most value out of him, after buying, you should always push an axe into his face to get 2 free leads. But don't forget to apologize to Mog Swamp after doing so. And after apologizing to Mog, you can continue with the llamas because they will try to get revenge for their owner. During sunset, the trader will drink a potion of invisibility, and during sunrise, they will drink milk from a bucket. This means they can drop these 2 items if you kill them while they're drinking. Piglin. They live in the Crimson Forest, Nether Wastes, and Bastions. There are adult piglins and baby piglins. Adult piglins will use crossbows and swords as weapon. As for the baby, they will be equipped with nothing and they cannot fight. Piglins are neutral. They will only attack when the players are not wearing gold, stealing their gold, or looting their chests. To avoid making the piglins angry, players can use the hopper to loot chests. Piglins love gold, so they will collect gold items. When given a gold ingot, they will trade many different items with the players. Piglins will sometimes hunt Zoglin, and if they succeed, they have a chance to dance. Piglin Brute, another type of piglin. The Piglin Brute is the only type of piglin that will never spawn in the Crimson Forest and Nether Waste. They will only spawn in the Bastion. Unlike regular piglins, the Piglin Brute will use the golden axe as their weapon, and they are a lot tougher than regular piglins. On top of that, the Piglin Brute is hostile, so they will always attack players. They also don't have the ability to trade gold, but one similarity they share with the regular piglins is that they both hate the wither and wither skeletons, and they will turn into zombified piglins when they leave the nether. Shulker. Shulkers spawn in end cities. They have a chance to duplicate if they are hit with Shulker bullets. Upon death, Shulkers will drop Shulker shells, which can be crafted into Shulker boxes. Up to 4 Shulker shells can be dropped in Bedrock Edition. Shulkers can teleport. They attack with Shulker bullets that inflict the levitation effect. Shulker bullets can be destroyed by hitting. Shulkers are tougher when they're in their shells, and projectile attacks will have no effect when they're in this state. Shulkers can drown, but they are immune to lava. Shulkers can be dyed in Bedrock Edition. They can go on both minecarts and boats. Shulkers have squiggly butts, and this is what they look like without their shells. Silverfish. They spawn from infested blocks in strongholds, underground in mountains, in igloo basements, and in woodland mansion false portal rooms. Breaking blocks with the Silk Touch enchantment will stop the silverfish from coming out. Silverfish spawners will always generate in the end portal room. They will attack players, iron golems, and snow golems. Once they get hit, they will call other silverfish in the area to come out. They are weak to the Bane of Arthropod enchantment. Silverfish can hide in these blocks when they're not attacking, turning the block into an infested block. Infested blocks are a lot easier to break than normal blocks. Spider. They spawn from spawners and anywhere with the light level of 0. Spiders in Java Edition's hard mode will be able to spawn with a buff. The buff includes speed, strength, regeneration, and invisibility. Upon death, they have a chance to drop spider eyes and strings. Their eyes can be in, but it will give players the poison effect. Spiders target iron golems and players, but they are neutral when the light level is 12 or higher. Spiders can climb on walls and even on the world border. They are immune to poison, and they can walk at normal speed in cobwebs, but they are weak to the Bane of Arthropod enchantment. Spiders can spawn with skeletons, but they don't seem to know. Cave Spider. Cave spiders can only spawn from spawners in mine shafts. They are a little smaller than normal spiders and they have less health, but they can inflict a poison effect with their attacks. Turtle. Turtles spawn on the beach. They use seagrass to breed. In version 18W07A, pods were used to breed turtles. The Silk Touch enchantment can be used to pick up turtle eggs. The eggs will only hatch on sand and red sand. They are faster swimmers. Upon death, they will drop seagrass. If killed by lightning, they can drop bowls. Baby turtles will drop scoots when they're grown. Turtles are friendly. They can be put into minecarts and boats. Turtles will always return to their birthplace. They look like this in this version because of a bug. Zoglins, the Wither, and Vindicators named Johnny will attack adult turtles. Zombies, zombie villagers, Husk, drowned skeletons, stray, wither skeleton, wild ocelots, wild wolves, stray cats, foxes, Zoglins, the Wither, and Vindicators named Johnny will attack baby turtles. Zombie, zombie villager, Husk, drowned, and zombified piglins will stomp on turtle eggs. Witch! Witches are hostile mobs that use potions to attack, and they can also use potions to heal themselves. The witch can spawn in dark places, swamp huts, raids, and on the rare occasion when a villager gets struck by lightning. Unlike the villagers that were turned into zombies, villagers that were turned into witches cannot be cured. Upon death, the witch has a chance to drop bottles, sugar, glowstone dust, redstone dust, spider eye, gunpowder, and sticks.
Huh?
That's right, sticks, because witches are made from wood. But on top of that long list of items they can drop, the witch can also drop the potions that they were drinking. The potions include potion of fire resistance, healing, water breathing, and speed. And even though they are considered to be a hostile mob, they will not attack the villagers, unlike the zombies. The iron golems will still give them a wedgie though. During combat, the witch will use potion of weakness, slowness, instant damage, and poison. On top of that, witches are somewhat immune to potions, meaning potions will do less damage to them. Phantom, a mob that will spawn when players haven't slept for 3 days. Phantoms will stoop down to attack players, but they will fly back up to reset if a block is in their way or if they get hit first. Cats can also scare the phantoms away with their hisses. Phantoms are one of the fastest mob if they can gain momentum. Phantoms are undead, so they will take damage from healing potions. Upon death, they have a chance to drop phantom membranes, which can be used to fix an elytra or brewed into soul falling potions. And the last but most surprising and mind-boggling fact, the phantom was voted in by players. What were you thinking? Blaze. Blazes can be found in a nether fortress. They will spawn in random places all over the fortress and from the spawner. And according to the article, visit the nether on Minecraft.net, blazes are sentient beings made of pure lava. Blazes are essential for beating the game because upon death, they will drop blaze rods, which can be used to craft Eyes of Ender, the key to opening the end portal. On top of opening the end portal, blaze rods can also be crafted into brewing stands, and the blaze powder can be used to brew potions. Blazes will attack by shooting 3 fireballs at range. In close range, they will just rub their rods on players to do damage. Because they are made of lava, blazes are weak to water, rain, and snow, and they don't seem to care too much about their life. no urgency to leave. Hawklin. Hawklin spawn in the Crimson Forest and Bastion. 20% of Hawklin spawn as babies. Hawklins will run away from Warp Fungus because it stinks, nether portals because the sound is annoying, and respawn anchors. Hawklins are hostile to players, but despite being a hostile mob, Hawklins can be leashed and they can be bred by using Crimson Fungus. Baby piglins will sometimes ride baby Hawklins. Up to 3 baby piglins can ride a baby Hawklin at once. Upon death, they will drop pork chop, and they have a chance to drop leather as well. Sheep. Sheep that are named Jeb underscore will continuously change its color, but this is just an effect. Their actual wool is still the same color. There are 16 different color sheep, but naturally spawned sheep only come in 6 colors. White is the most common, followed by black, gray, light gray, brown, and the rarest one is pink. The color of the wool can be changed with dye. Evokers will change blue sheep to red sheep. Sheep will regrow their wool after eating grass. Wolves will hunt sheep. Lastly, their Viagra is wheat. Frogs will spawn in swamps and mangrove swamps. The weather of the biome will determine the frog's color. In temperate biomes, the frog will be orange. In hot biomes, the frog will be white. And in cold biomes, the frog will be green. Cold biome frogs will only spawn naturally when a swamp or mangrove swamp is next to a cold biome. To get cold biome frogs, players usually have to breed frogs in another biome to get tadpoles and bring the tadpole to cold biomes. Tadpoles will swim aimlessly for 20 minutes before they grow into frogs. To speed up their growth, players can feed slime balls to tadpoles. On land, they will suffocate and die, and axolotls will also hunt tadpoles. Frogs will wander around and eat the smallest slimes if they see one. They also have the ability to jump really high. In the nether, frogs can eat the smallest magma cubes, but instead of just dropping magma creams, the frog will also drop frog lights. The type of frog lights they drop is dependent on what type of frog they are. Rabbits. There are 6 types of naturally spawned rabbits. Yellow rabbits will spawn in deserts. White and black and white rabbits will spawn in snowy biomes. Black, brown, and brown and white will spawn in flower forests, taigas, meadows, and cherry groves. Rabbits are a source of rabbit's foot, rabbit hide, and raw rabbit. Rabbit's foot can be used to brew jump boost potions or traded with a cleric for emeralds. Rabbits will run away from players, but if the player is holding carrots, golden carrots, or dandelions, rabbits will slowly approach the player. To breed, they will also require these items. Sometimes they will even steal carrots from the farm. When a rabbit is named Toast, their texture will change. Ocelot. Ocelots spawn in the jungle. They are passive, but they are also afraid of players. Ocelots will hunt chickens and baby turtles. Similar to cats, creepers will run away from ocelots. Phantoms, however, are not afraid of ocelots. Ocelots are immune to fall damage. They can't be tamed, but if given enough fish, they will trust the player. They also use fish to breed. Squids spawn in rivers and oceans. They will always find a way to suffocate on the shore. Upon death, squids will drop ink sacs, which can be crafted into black dye and book and quill. It can also be used on signs to revert glowing text back to default, and librarians will also accept it for emeralds. Squids can't go in boats, but they can go in minecarts. Squids are not affected by the Grum or Dinnerbone name tag. Glow Squid, a mob added in as the winner of the mob vote. Glow Squids will spawn under Y level 30 in water with complete darkness, excluding the deep dark biome. Like their cousin, they will always find a way to suffocate on land. Guardians, Elder Guardians, and Axolotls will also prey on glow squids. Upon death, they will drop glow ink sacs, which can be used to craft glow item frames or to make signs more visible. If they somehow don't find a way to die, glow squids will swim around aimlessly while emitting particles. And even though their name is glow squid, they do not actually emit light. Overall, the glow squid is pretty useless, but one cool way I found a use for them is to give them the invis potion and put them in a fish tank, because their particles will still be visible and it makes it look like the glass is squeaky clean. Chicken, a passive mob that spawns on grass blocks at light level of 9 or more in the old world. Chickens will not spawn in deserts, meadows, mountains, badlands, and cold biomes. 5% of chickens will spawn as chicks. All zombie variants and zombified piglins can spawn riding chickens. These are called chicken jockeys. Unlike normal adult chickens, baby chickens and chicken jockeys cannot lay eggs. One egg can hatch up to 4 chicks when thrown, or it can be crafted into cakes and pies. Upon death, chickens will drop chicken and feathers. To breed, they require various seeds. Chicks take 10 minutes to grow, but they can be force-fed to grow faster. Wolves will hunt sheep, rabbits, foxes, baby turtles, and skeletons. They can be tamed with bones, but these items are used to breed and heal wolves. Tame wolves will help players fight. Their collar can be dyed. Wolves will tilt their head if you're holding meats or bones, and their tail indicates how much health they have. Polar bear, a mob that was requested by Jeb's wife. Jeb's response was he would add the mob if he and his wife ever had their own bear. So once his child was born, Jeb named him Björn, which means bear in Swedish, and he added the polar bear to Minecraft. Polar bears will spawn in snowy plains, ice spikes, frozen ocean, and deep frozen ocean. Polar bears are neutral, so they will only retaliate if provoked or if players get too close to their cubs. Polar bears will prey on foxes, they drop cods upon death, and unfortunately they cannot be forced to breed. Strider, a passive mob native to the nether. Most of them can be found in lava lakes. They can be saddled and ridden like a pig, but they need fungus on a stick to control. The Strider is one of the best mob early game because it makes traveling in the nether a lot easier and a lot more fun. Striders can be adults and babies. They use the warp fungus to breed. Sometimes the baby will spawn riding an adult strider. They will still ride their parents even after becoming adults. The Zombified Piglin can also spawn riding a strider. Striders will turn pale and move a lot slower on land. They are weak to rain and water. Upon death, they can drop strings. Cow, a source of leather, beef, and milk. The design of the Minecraft's cow is based on the Norwegian red cattle. Cows will spawn in most grassy biomes, at butchers' houses, and animal pens in villages. Cows can be milked. Upon death, they will drop their meat, and they have a chance to drop leather as well. To breed, they will require wheat. Calves take 20 minutes to grow. Tropical fish. Tropical fish spawn in warm oceans, mangrove swamps, and lush caves. There are 2,700 unique variants of tropical fish. Upon death, they drop themselves, and they have a chance to drop bone or bone meal depending on what edition you play. Like most fish, tropical fish swim in schools. They can be picked up by a bucket. They suffocate on land. They are weak to the impaling enchantment, and they can be picked up by a fishing rod. They are one of the worst food in Minecraft. Salmon. Salmon spawn in rivers and cold oceans. Upon death, they will drop themselves, and they have a chance to drop bone or bone meal depending on what edition you play. Salmons are one of the better fish for hunger points. Cod. Cod spawn in all oceans. They like to swim in schools. On land, they have 10 seconds before they start suffocating. Upon death, they will drop themselves, and they have a chance to drop bone meal and bone in Bedrock edition. They can't survive in water cauldrons. The impaling enchantment will do more damage to them because they are an aquatic mob. They can be picked up by a bucket and caught by a fishing rod.